Corruption by P.K. Armstrong. Chapter 35. It was twilight by the time she left the city, and Angel traveled by the remaining light in the sky. Once she hit the country roads that led to her farmhouse, the calm and quiet gave her the ability to focus and shift the information Ella had provided about the Sorensens to another part of her mind. It was imperative she find out all she could about Violet's mother and father and the mess they were so obviously in. She headed home. She decided on a light supper of garlic shrimp pasta and a salad with a white Riesling so her mind would stay clear. She closed the large curtains as dusk settled and put everything out on her big dining room table, turning on the lamps in addition to the overhead lighting. She began to spread out her files and notes, Stan's background on the left and Cindy's on the right. In the center was where she hoped their two worlds overlapped. When she had completed the background check on the two, she had only gone back to the year Violet was born. But now, knowing that they knew each other as far back as high school, she concluded there could be more information that would lead to Cindy's whereabouts. It wasn't hard to learn that they were both born in the county and attended high school together. She began looking at known associates from high school. It seems Stan was a star basketball player, and there were several news articles about the high school team making finals. She actually discovered a couple of photos of Stan and cheerleader Cindy together. She finally found an online copy of their senior yearbook, and looking at the photos, she could see that Stan and Cindy were definitely close. Not only did they have sports in common, but they were part of the same clubs and participated in the same out of school activities like tree planting and kids' camps. There was even one photo of Stan and Cindy standing, his arm draped loosely over her shoulders, smiling that goofy smile only teenagers could master. It was one photo in particular, however, that brought the pieces together. 20 years ago, the high school had a fundraiser for local families that lost everything in an apartment building fire. The photo was on the high school's social media page and showed Stan, Cindy, and another guy who Angel could swear looked just like the guy who helped Stan kidnap Donna Stark, younger and slimmer, but it was him. The phone, the photo, the photo caption identified Cindy Mailer, basketballer Stan Granger, and Granger's cousin, A.J. Fordman. Angel grabbed her computer and entered in Fordman and took her background check even deeper. She found it buried in the county property records, a home owned by A.J. Fordman's mother, Mariah Fordman, 2 blocks north of downtown Fillmore. Angel pulled up in front of the two-story colonial home and knew immediately she had the right place because sitting there on the front porch, swinging on an old-fashioned porch swing, was Cindy Mailer. Angel shook her head when she saw her. How ridiculously close she had been to her this whole time. She got out of the car. At first, Cindy paid her no mind. Angel shut the door and made her way up the sidewalk, and Angel thought she could see a change in her demeanor. Angel could see her begin to move towards the door, but at Angel's words, she stopped. Don't you want to know how your daughter is doing? Cindy stared at her in absolute shock, not speaking. Angel knew she was being unkind, but she needed Cindy to talk, and she would never physically threaten a witness. We call her Violet. That's what Brandy called her. She paused and noted Cindy's eyes began to water. Is that what you named her when she was born? Cindy still said nothing. Would you prefer to go inside? It seemed a whole minute before Cindy Mailer responded. Angel could see her emotions waxing and waning over her face. She looked at Angel with trepidation. I don't know you. Angel acknowledged the dilemma with a nod. My name is Angelica Dale. I am a private investigator, and I want to help you and Stan out of the mess you are in. Cindy's eyes widened at her mention of Stan's name. She stared at Angel for another moment, deciding whether or not to trust her. Her head dropped to her chest, and she gave what seemed to be a shudder. She looked up and down the street, then back at Angel, nodding. Yes, she whispered. I think maybe you'd better come in. Cindy went into the house, holding the door open for Angel to follow. Angel stood in the entryway and waited until Cindy motioned for her to sit on a couch in the front room where the late afternoon sun provided a touch of warmth to fight off the chill. Cindy sat in a chair across from her, her eyes on the floor. When she spoke, it was quiet, yet determined. Violet is her middle name. She was born Blue Violet Mailer Granger. That is beautiful, Angel said sincerely. She will love it. How well do you know my daughter? Cindy asked, surprised. I'm her foster mom. She's not with Brandy. It was a statement, not a question, and she didn't seem shocked by the information. No, Brandy took off after her friend was arrested for attacking Violet. Cindy looked at her in horror. Angel cringed. Sorry, I thought you knew. Cindy shook her head and began to cry. We just found out where she was last week, she admitted, her tears coming steadily. Is she okay? Yes, she is doing well. In school, and, well, everything. Cindy smiled tremulously and nodded her head. The smile disappeared quickly. Who, what friend attacked her? Evan Michaels. Cindy looked up sharply. Evan? Are they sure? I wouldn't have expected that from him. He was angry. He frightened her, roughed her up, broke her fingers, and cut her hair. Cindy nodded. Now that sounds like Evan. He was always emotional and could switch on you quickly. There was a brief silence that neither tried to break right away. Angel could hear a car driving too fast down the street and the inevitable car alarm it triggered. Cindy swallowed visibly as if her throat were closing in on the words she needed to say. I I want you to know that if I had any other choice, I would not have left her with Brandy. Brandy was my only friend at the time, but I knew she wasn't mother material. Angel didn't speak, only nodded. She knew if Cindy felt judged, she would clam up. Would you please tell me why you had to protect Blue Violet? Her words soothed Cindy's conscience and hit their mark. You know where I used to work, the auto shop? Angel nodded. I was just a receptionist, basically, and helped with payroll. The original owner was Jacob Sims, and he was a bottom feeder. You know the sort, always looking at you as if you aren't wearing any clothes, every word or phrase sexual innuendo, and always accidentally brushing up against me in the office. Men like that are disgusting, Angel agreed. One day there was an error with the payroll software, and I was held up at work late, 7 or 8 at night. Mr. Sims was there with me, and while we waited with the help desk on the line, he started getting, well, handsy. She looked at Angel, embarrassed, but Angel just nodded again. We finally fixed the glitch, and I tried to say goodnight, but he blocked the door to the office. He started saying what he wanted to do to me. I was scared. He grabbed me and pushed me onto his desk and started tearing at my clothes. Cindy was rocking back and forth and holding her arms. She seemed detached, as if she were telling a story about someone else. He pinned me down. I was screaming for him to stop, begging him, but he hit me and told me to relax. Oh my goodness, Cindy, what did you do? I felt a paperweight just within my reach, and when his grip on me slipped, I grabbed it and whacked him across the head. He stopped instantly, fell from on top of me, and slid to the floor. I knew he was dead. And you called Stan? Cindy nodded. I couldn't call the police. She looked at Angel and smiled secretly at the irony of her words, realizing that in actuality she did call the police. You see, I couldn't call the police. I had been doing some things for Mr. Sims that weren't exactly legal. If they searched the office, they would find out, and Stan said that they would assume that is why I killed Mr. Sims. to keep my illegal activities from coming to light, not because he attacked me. So Stan took care of it? Cindy nodded sadly. I should have just called the police and took my chances. Stan needed help, so he called a friend, another cop, and they got rid of the body together. But the guy that helped him has used it against Stan all these years. Sorensen. Angel's comment surprised another look from Cindy. Yes, he's cold, ruthless, she said on a shiver. First, he insisted on Stan taking over ownership of the auto shop and that I continue to work there. So when the task force investigated the shop, why did you help? Because I thought it would be a way of getting out from under Sorensen's thumb. And it worked at first. I was able to quit after the place got shut down. But Sorensen still knew what Stan did, and he used it to get him to do unspeakable things. She paused as if to contemplate whether she was going to tell Angel something else. Apparently, she decided she might as well go all in. He told me that he thought Sorensen is out of control and asked him to kidnap a woman and hold her for ransom. He told me that he thought Sorensen was out of control. Do you know that he even asked him to kidnap a woman and hold her for ransom? Can you believe that? Did Stan do it? Did Stan do it? Of course not. Stan wouldn't go that far. Not even for you? No, Cindy practically shouted. Angel just looked at Cindy, not saying a word. After 30 seconds, she could see Cindy's resolve slip and her eyes fill with tears. Oh, Stan, what have you done? She said more to herself than Angel. Cindy, where is Stan? The police are looking for him, aren't they? Yes. I just don't know. I haven't spoken to him for a couple of days. Give me some ideas. Cindy was losing whatever calm she had left. I don't know. We only have each other. She thought a minute. I know when I first left the auto shop, Sorensen kept asking Stan where I was, telling him that he had a job for me. Stan had me stay at a hotel just outside of town until he could convince Sorensen that I wasn't worth the trouble. What's the name of the hotel? Angel went out to her car and began searching for the hotel Cindy had mentioned. It was a long shot. Cindy admitted Stan would probably stay close by until they could both get away. Angel pulled out her notepad. She would start with the hotel.